I've been asked by a number of people how I feel about the efforts made to get the United States out of the quandary it now finds itself in over the debt limit. Let me be very clear. I applaud President Obama and Majority Leader Reid for real leadership and persistence over many months in trying to find a bipartisan solution to the debt crisis. Senator Reid has put forward a solution that would end the current crisis, reduce our unsustainable national debt. Now, this is a solution that has the potential to draw support from lawmakers from both parties who are willing to put common sense and the national interest above partisanship and ideology. Those who would say, rather than party first, let's go country first, then now we have a framework for a solution. By repeatedly walking away from the table and insisting on their way or no way, those who are holding the American people and our economy hostage are playing ideological games with serious consequences for everyone else. Through their tactics, they threaten great risk to the well-being of ordinary Americans. The longer this goes on, the greater the danger of lasting damage below the waterline of our democracy. Right now, Leader Reid's $2.7 trillion debt reduction package is the best chance, really is the best chance this country has to avoid a default and a credit rating downgrade that would damage our fragile economy. It would also impose a credit hike tax on every American family. We downgrade our credit rating. We are going to be spending hundreds of billions of dollars in interest to other countries, money that they can spend on medical research and on schools and on transportation and alternative energies. They can spend it in their country. We'll be paying the bills, and all because the Congress did not come together on a solution on this issue. Most people looking at this wonder, why haven't we moved? Now, Senator Reid has a plan that can move. It can say that we will spend this money, the money we have, not shipping it overseas to other countries, but spend it on the needs of our own country. The plan consolidates terms agreed to in the ongoing negotiations. It proposes a solution that ends the current crisis. It accomplishes wide-ranging savings. It has enough bipartisan support to pass. It would end the roller coaster of unpredictability that shackles our economy by instead offering financial stability through 2012. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid beneficiaries be spared a loss of benefits. The American people begin to recognize these savings from withdrawing from Iraq and Afghanistan. And essential education, job creation, housing, and environmental investments for America's economic recovery and for a strong economic future would be protected from the slashing cuts proposed by the House Republicans. The irony is Republican leaders previously have backed all of the spending reductions called for in Leader Reid's plan. Now, I don't agree, and I suspect all of us don't agree with all aspects of this proposed solution. We're not going to have 100 solutions on this floor. We're going to have one that we can vote on. I wish this one included new revenue, especially by ending such costly and outdated tax benefits as those still enjoyed by the biggest oil companies, to help us pay off our debt even more quickly. I'd like to help pay for the debt incurred by the inexcusable earlier decisions to enter 2 wars without paying for them. And I continue to believe the surcharge for the wealthiest would mean they would pay more of their fair share after so many years of tax cuts that are tilted far more toward the wealthiest of Americans rather than to the middle class. I find it interesting when I hear lectures from those who voted for an unnecessary war in Iraq. Iraq, a country that had nothing whatsoever to do with 9/11, A country that before we invaded had no al-Qaeda, has plenty now, said we will vote for this war, and for the first time in our history, we won't pay for it, we'll just borrow the money. And we'll cut taxes to pay for it, and we'll borrow the money. Look where we are now. We'll eventually owe $3.5 trillion for that war. You know, it's far easier, and I say this to everybody who, like myself, may not see every single thing they want here. It's far easier to walk away from the negotiating table than to make the hard choices needed on behalf of the American people. We need serious statesmanship on both sides for this to work, both sides to get a solution, and both sides to do it before it's too late. The economic health of our country, the jobs of thousands of hardworking Americans should not be mired in politics. It's well past the time, and I realize there's a House faction that is driving much of the decisions there. Well, it's well past time for that faction in the House of Representatives to put politics aside and accept a long-term deficit reduction plan that does not force America's most vulnerable to shoulder the burden. Just as many Vermont families are forced to make difficult financial decisions, Congress has to be open to considering all available options. We do this in my state of Vermont without gimmicks. We don't have any constitutional amendment on balanced budgets or anything like that. We just balance the budget. In that regard, Mr. President, I recall a number who said, let's have a constitutional amendment to balance the budget. No, it'd be years from there. But when we actually had a balanced budget during the Clinton-Gore administration, not a single Republican voted for it. Democrats voted for it. We balanced the budget. We created a surplus, started paying down the national debt, and created 24 million new jobs. Let's go back to those days. Forget the sloganeering. Forget the bumper sticker solutions. If things were that easy, it would have been done long before now. Let's start going back to doing what we're elected to do, what we're paid to do, and also what we are expected to do. Seek a solution, not a gimmick, not a deal, a solution that benefits all Americans.